Hi, my name is Dr. Harman and one of the instructor at Dental101. So today I'm going to show you how to assess your crown preparation, metal ceramic crown preparation. So today I'm going to do that show you that on 4/6. So this is our 4/6 tooth which is already prepared. So now I'm going to assess that how we have to assess according to ADC criteria. Okay, so the first thing that we'll look for is the margin position. So we always look for our margin position. So this is my probe, so I will run my probe along the gums and margins. So I will look for, so my margin preparation, like ideal margin position is 0.5 mm from the gums supragingival. Okay, so you can see like margin position of my preparation is almost 0.5 mm supragingival, right? So now I will look from from lingual surface. So again, so it's like from the center it's around like 1 mm, but otherwise all around the preparation it's 0.5 mm. So according to this, my preparation is going into satisfactory. If your margin preparation is 0.5 mm, margin position is 0.5 mm supragingival, then it is very good. But if it is equigingival or less than 1 mm supragingival, it is satisfactory. But so my preparation is like from buccal side is very good, but from the lingual side it's satisfactory because it is around 1 mm supragingival. But if it is subgingival or 1 to 2 mm supragingival, then it is under borderline. And if it is more than 2 mm supragingival or more than 1 mm subgingival, then it will go under unsatisfactory. So be very careful while maintaining your position. Okay, so we can maintain it like 0.5 to 1 mm supragingival. And then is the margin width. So to check the margin width, I will run my probe along the margins. So from the mesial it is 1 mm, and while I'm going toward distal, bucco-distal, so still it's 1 mm. So my margin width is less than 1.2 mm, so which is unsatisfactory. So your marginal width should be like, if it is 1.2 mm means this your black band should be inside your width. So if it is 1.2 mm it's ideal, or otherwise we can maintain up to 1.5 mm is satisfactory. But if it is more than 1.5 mm to up to 2 mm, then it will go into borderline. And if it is more than 2 mm or less than 1.2 mm, it will go under unsatisfactory. Okay, and from the lingual side we need like 0.5 to 1 mm of the margin width. So mine is 1 mm throughout, so it's go under satisfactory. So from the lingual side is satisfactory, but I need to prepare like my margin width from the buccal side. We need it up to 1.2 mm, so it is under, so it goes under like unsatisfactory. So at least minimum we need a 1.2 of the marginal width. And then move to the another point, margin form. So margin form should always be smooth, continuous and identifiable. Okay, and if it is rough at one area, then it will come under satisfactory. If it is generally rough, then it will come under borderline. And if it is grossly indistinct or rough margins, then it will come under unsatisfactory. So for my my preparation is distinct and smooth all along the preparation, so it comes under very good. You can see there is no roughness on my margin of my preparation, so it's all smooth, right? And then is damage to adjacent or assessment tooth beyond the preparation. So you can see, so we should always be very careful while preparing our tooth. So if you just there is a minor scratch on the adjacent preparation, adjacent tooth, then it will come under satisfactory. But if it is moderate, like, but still you can correct it, then it comes under borderline. But if there is a major damage to the adjacent tooth, then it comes under unsatisfactory. And similar with the gums. So if there are minor scratch on your gums, then it's satisfactory. But if there is a major cut or major damage to the gum, then it will come under unsatisfactory. So in my preparation to the gums, like you can see, if it will be like this, like there are major cuts on the gums over here, and so that will put into borderline to unsatisfactory. So always be very careful while preparing your margins. Then is debris. So your preparation should always be debris free. If there is any debris left, if it is superficial, satisfactory, but if it is small amount of debris or excessive debris, then it comes under borderline to unsatisfactory. Then is the tooth selection. If you have to select your tooth correct, if you prepared correct tooth, then it's good, otherwise unsatisfactory. Now is the path of insertion. So path of insertion should be optimal. Like how we can say our path of insertion, if we see from the top, then we were able to see all these, like, margin from all the margins from one point. If you are not able to see all these points, so I will show you with the pencil insertion. If you see from the top, you were able to see all these, like I just marked it with the pencil so that you can see all these surfaces from the top. If you are not able to see, I'm just showing you with the pencil, like if you are not able to see any pencil mark from the top, then means you need little bit more preparation from that side. So means your path of insertion is not optimal. Okay, so this is how we can check our path of insertion. It's not like we don't need to mark with the pencil, it just to show you guys so that what you need to check with the what is the way to check the path of insertion. So if your path of insertion is optimal, then it's very good. Like you can see in this preparation, you are able to see all the, like I marked along my pencil, I marked with the pencil, so you can see all the pencil marks. So means path of insertion is optimal. But if it is not optimal but still can be managed by lab, that but doesn't require any modification in the tooth or in the adjacent tooth, then it's satisfactory. Means if you are not able to see anything from this side, but because of that still your lab can manage to form the crown without any need of preparing the adjacent tooth, then it's satisfactory. But if we need any minor modification, then it is unsatisfactory, so borderline. And if it requires modification of the adjacent tooth, major modification, then it will come under unsatisfactory. Means if it is too much inclined toward if your preparation is too much inclined toward mesial or toward distal, in that case it will become under unsatisfactory. If it's just a little bit inclined toward this, if your preparation is little bit towards mesial, little bit toward distal, but we just need a little bit preparation of that side tooth, then it's borderline. And if it is just that little bit inclined but there is no need to prepare your adjacent tooth, in that case it is satisfactory. So this is how we can check our path of insertion. Right, means if in this tooth, if my preparation was little bit toward mesial, so I was not able to see this thing, this line, pencil line, so means my preparation path of insertion of my preparation is not optimal. Alright, so now moving to next point is undercut. Again, to see undercut, if so I will move my probe along the surface. So if I see there is a gap at the junction where my probe is touching to the margins and the preparation, means there is undercut. Or even you can see with the same pencil mark, if you are not able to see your pencil mark because it's going under that undercut, means there is a undercut. So this is how you need to check your undercuts. So undercuts will always be here. So if there is no undercut, it's good, but if there are only minor undercut at one surface that can be managed by the lab, then it is satisfactory. But if there is undercut at the multiple surfaces, like on the buccal as well as on the lingual or on the mesial or distal, then it is borderline. And if there are too many undercuts or all around the preparation and cannot be managed by lab, then it comes under unsatisfactory. And then is overall preparation taper. So for taper we need like 12-degree taper is ideal, but up to from 6 to 20 degrees it is still satisfactory. So you can see in this preparation, so it's like not too much taper, but it's not parallel as well, so that is still satisfactory taper. And to check your buccal, so that is also we can check from the top that it's going little bit slanting, so there is a taper. But if your preparation is parallel, going parallel or straight or convergent, means your walls are, these surfaces, buccal or lingual surfaces, are a bit convergent, then in that case it comes under a borderline to unsatisfactory. Then we need to check our reduction. Next is reduction. So occlusion reduction, for that we need to like reflect. If you reduce uniformly, like you reflect the anatomy, then it's very good. But if you are just able to maintain the general anatomy of the occlusion, means if you can see in this picture, so in this we like in my preparation, so there are all 5 cusps, like mesiobuccal, mesiodistal, buccal, and distolingual and mesiolingual cusps. So all the grooves are well defined, so means it's from, like we can say, from very good to satisfactory, means at least I try to generally maintain the occlusal anatomy. But if there is any like moderate loss of anatomy, means it's not even not generally resemble to the anatomy, then it will come under borderline. And if it is just complete loss of occlusal anatomy, then it is unsatisfactory. So at least try to maintain it general, like sure, so that your occlusal reduction should generally resemble the anatomy, still it comes under satisfactory. Next point is occlusal reduction. So to check the occlusal reduction, we need a putty. So we can place a putty, and as we ideal reduction that we need on occlusal is 2 mm. But if it is like in between 2 to 3 mm is satisfactory. But if it is less than 2 mm or more than 3 mm, then it will consider borderline to unsatisfactory. So how we can check our occlusal reduction? So how we can place our putty, and then you can check from the buccal side. I can see that my occlusal reduction is like almost more than 2 mm but less than 3, right? And then I'm moving my probe toward the center, so again in the center reduction is 2 mm, and then moving toward the lingual, so lingual reduction is again 2 mm. So means it is now under very good to satisfactory criteria. So, and then I'm moving to the next point, which is buccal reduction. So for buccal reduction, we need, like ideally it is 1.2 mm, but it is satisfactory if it is like from 1 mm to 1.8 mm. But if it is more than 1.8 mm, then it will be considered from borderline to unsatisfactory. So how we gonna check our buccal reduction? So like that, from here it's 1 mm to, and moving towards occlusal, so its maximum is 2 mm. So my buccal reduction is 1 to 2 mm, so which is satisfactory. No, sorry, from the occlusal area it is under borderline. If it is more than 1.8 mm, it is considered as borderline. If it is less than 2.5 mm, and if it goes more than 2.5 mm, it will be unsatisfactory. So the buccal reduction criteria for this restoration is under borderline. From the lingual for the lingual reduction, We'll check. So our lingual reduction should be, ideally it should be 0.5 mm to between 2.5 mm to 1 mm, but up to 1.5 mm it will be considered satisfactory, and if it is more than 1.5 mm it will be considered as borderline to unsatisfactory. So the lingual reduction is from here, it is 0.5 mm towards going to almost 1.5 mm, so which is considered satisfactory. And next is the line angles. So all your line angles should be round off from here, like don't leave any sharp point, especially on the where these margins from the cavo surface margins should always be round off. So all your margins, all your line angle should be round off. Don't leave any sharp points, especially on the mesial and distal margins. So these are the most common areas where we leave a sharp point. So always try to round off all the sharp points. And so this is how we can do a self-assessment for our tooth preparation, and I hope I cleared all your doubts, and it will help. This video will help you to do an assessment for your tooth preparation, for the crown preparation for PFM. So this is the way. Thank you.